Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm pretty excited because I want to talk about a product that is such a rarity in the hi-fi audiophile realm. It's almost like they never come around, but every now and again they do. And when they do, I get excited because it means that you can pay such a little amount for something while getting the performance of big boy products, right? I'm talking about the big guys, the thousands of dollar products. Today I want to talk about a product just like that. It's the iFi Zen Phono Pre-Amp. If you listen to records, if you spin vinyl, if you have a turntable and you're looking to improve the sound of your system, of your analog system, or if you're running your vinyl through an integrated amplifier with a built-in Phono Pre, or using one of those cheap $50 Phono Pre's, or even if you're using a $1,000 Phono Preamp, you might want to listen to this because I took delivery of an iFi Zen Phono Preamp. Now the iFi Zen is $189, right? $189. I own 3 other Phono Preamps from $349 up to thousands and thousands of dollars, which I'm going to talk about that here in a second, comparing this $189 Zen to some pretty big boys in the Phono Preamp world, right? That's why I'm so excited. The iFi Zen is all metal construction. It has unbalanced and a balanced output. It has the ability to have an upgraded power supply with iFi Zone iPower V2, which I also tested. It has an AI rumble filter, which intelligently, according to iFi, reduces rumble without sacrificing bass quality. It also has trickle-down technology from their much more expensive Phono preamps, which is always good when you see that trickle-down technology, because that means we get to benefit from the high dollar stuff in a little dollar item. And as I always said, you don't always have to spend big money to get great sound from your system, and this is one of those cases that proves just that. So I took delivery of the iFi Zen, the iPower V2, as well as the XLR cable that you can hook up to the Zen if you want to go into a balanced input on your preamp or integrated amplifier. First, I tried it bare bones stock. Now, the first thing I did was I went into my budget system where I have a Mobile Fidelity, a MoFi Studio Phono Preamp that I believe comes in at $349 these days, and I've been very happy with it in that system. I'm running an Angel's Horn $160 turntable in that system with a PS Audio Sprout for the amplifier duties. And I'm running in that system, I alternate between Klipsch Heresy 4s and Wharfdale Diamond 225s, which are only $299. I have a system in the budget room that sounds really good for around $1,200, and I've been enjoying vinyl in that system. When I swapped in the Zen, the first thing that jumped out was the dynamics and the sound and the boogie factor and the slam and the depth and the separation of instruments, which I didn't get from the MoFi. The MoFi is very smooth. It puts a little hiss into the system. It's not the quietest thing, but it's an overall really good Phono preamp for $350. On the other hand, the Zen at $189, I wasn't using the power supply or the balanced output here, literally blew away, and I hate using that term. It just was so much more different than the Mobile Fidelity. Again, it was more excitement, more boogie factor, more slam, more dynamics. The instruments were separated so much better. The sound stage was bigger, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing in a system that is around $1,200 total cost. I was left scratching my head like, why did I spend all this money on this big system again? But it's not close to my big system, but you can enjoy music tremendously without spending a ton of money. So I was blown away by the iFi Zen in that budget system. I was like, okay, well, let's take it over to the reference system and compare it against something that's much more expensive. Now over here I have an Icon Audio PS1 MKII. It's a tube Phono Preamp. It comes in 2 boxes. It has step-up transformers built in, $2,300. It's a tremendous, another endgame type of Phono Preamp, right? It's not very adjustable, but it does have a mono switch and a volume, so you can adjust the gain with the volume if you like. It has an MC and an MM, moving magnet, moving coil, and I wanted to compare it against this $189 Zen that was just blowing me away in the budget system. So I unhooked the PassLabs XP15 that I was listening to, and first I hooked up the Zen. I wanted to see if it was just a fluke that it sounded so good in the budget system. When I put on a record and started to listen, again, I was taken aback because I was like, I'm liking this better than the PassLabs XP15. Now, when we get those first impressions when we put something new in, we're hearing difference, so we automatically think it's better, and that's not always the case. So I had more listening to do, but my first impressions were it's dynamic as all get out, it has meat on the bones, it has slam and kick, and it just made me want to get up and move. I couldn't believe it. It was also very little hiss coming through my 105 dB efficient Klipsch La Scala AL5 speakers. I was just blown away. I then hooked up the iFi iPower V2, using that as the power supply, and then I hooked up the balanced cable to the iFi, which iFi sells as well. It's an adapted cable with XLRs on one end, and I believe a 4.4 millimeter connection on the other end, so you can plug it into the Zen. When I did that, I kid you not, I was going back and forth between the PassLabs, which is thousands of dollars back when it came out. Now, PassLabs has since came out with a newer model, the XP17, so this is the older model PassLabs. And the PassLabs is smooth, expansive, refined, where the Zen was just get up and go, playing heavy metal, rock, pop. It just had slam and impact, where the PassLabs was a little more polite. I couldn't believe what I was hearing for the now under around $350 price point when I added the cable and the power supply. I was in shock, right? So I then put in the Icon Audio PS1 MKII, which is another Phono Preamp I really love. I keep it because I love it, because it can impart a little bit of tube character into the sound, but it's really not a tubey type of preamp. It's just got bass slam and a sweet top end and an expansive sound, not as smooth as the PassLabs. But the Icon against the Zen, 350 total with the tweaks. Icon, $2,200-$2,300. I preferred the Zen in my reference system with almost every record I played. And that excited me, because then I knew I can come here and tell you guys, if you're looking to upgrade the sound of your vinyl, this Zen is something that not only plays along with the big boy preamps, it beats a lot of them. It beat, without question, for my tastes, the Mobile Fidelity. It beat by a hair, which is hard for me to say, the Icon Audio PS1 MKII that costs a lot more money. It was standing toe-to-toe with the older PassLabs XP15. So what does that tell me? That tells me this is a pretty incredible Phono Preamp, a rarity in hi-fi where you pay such little money and get so much in return. I'd say easily the Zen Phono Preamp competes with preamps in the $1,000, $1,200, even $1,500 range. It's even competing with those much more money, as you can see. It's just hard for me to say, because a lot of people will say, what are you talking about? It won't beat this, or somebody who'll own the Icon Audio saying, no way it'll beat that. So when I say I preferred the Icon or the Zen to the Icon, that's what my ears preferred in my reference system in my room. It just had a little bit more get up and go boogie factor, a little more slam, a little more better Pratt. You know, the music it was creating was silent background when I put in that upgraded power supply, because that's what it does. Amazing instrument separation, dead center vocals. It was doing everything that the big boys do for such a little amount of money. This is one of those products I would just recommend over and over again. I'll yell it. I recommend this product if you're looking for a new Phono preamp for your vinyl, or if you're getting into vinyl. You can buy a $500 project table, the iFi Zen, and you will get a sound that is simply gorgeous from your vinyl, as long as you have, equivalent amp and speakers and you set them up. You don't have to spend a fortune to get amazing sound from a music system. My budget system, again, a PS Audio Sprout, $699. Wharfdale Diamond 225s, $299. iFi Zen, $189, right? $169 turntable from Angel's Horn, which is a low-cost, cheap turntable, but I have a Dynavector 10X5 cartridge on it that I bought used for a couple $100, and it sounds amazing when I'm in my studio space over there. So what I'm trying to say is the iFi Zen Phono Preamp, especially with the power supply, is something that punches many times above its weight. You're paying, say, with the power supply $250, you're getting $1,500 worth of Phono Preamp if you don't need all of the configurability, but you have your unbalanced or balanced output. It sounds really good through the unbalanced outputs. Again, the balanced output brings a little more clarity, a little more refinement, but it's very small. You don't have to have that cable, but if you do have a balanced input on your integrated or preamp, I do recommend the cable as well. And the bottom line is, if you upgrade the Zen to the max with the cable and the power supply, it's still around $350. And in that configuration, it kind of left the MoFi Studio in the dust. And the MoFi is a really good phono preamp for $350. The iFi Zen is a really good preamp for $1,500, and it costs way less than that. So I'm excited. I wanted to tell you guys about it. I put all the links. You can buy these things. I know you can buy the Zen. Amazon Prime has it. I believe they have the power supply. They might have the cable. I'll look for those links, and I'll put them in the description below, in the video description below. I'll also put a link to the iFi website if you want to read more about the Zen Phono stage. They're using that trickle-down technology from their more expensive preamps, and you can tell because if you read other reviews of it, if you read forums about this preamp, everybody who buys it is blown away by it. And many people have said just what I said. It punches way above its weight, and it hangs with the big boys, and in some cases surpasses the big boys. Now, after more listening and more time, I did go back into my reference system and compare it closely against the Passlabs XP15. And on a couple albums, I did prefer the Zen. I'm not going to lie. But overall, the Passlabs is way more configurable. It has a smoother, more expansive, more refined sound, a more high-end sound, if you will, and it just sucks you into the music. But if I want to get up and boogie and dance around, the Zen, a lot of people could consider the Zen with the power supply an endgame phono preamp, especially if you're not buying these super exotic cartridges. But then again, it works amazing with my Koetsu Black cartridge, which is a $3,000 low output moving coil cartridge. So take from that what you will. I can't recommend the Zen enough. It's a beautiful product made of metal, hefty, small, can fit anywhere. You have your unbalanced, balanced. You have your gain levels, 35 dB to 72 dB. Run a moving magnet, a moving coil, low output moving coil. It can handle it all. So links in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, thumbs up and subscribe. And if you have the Zen Phono Preamp or you buy it, let me know in the comments below what you think of it, because I feel it's a pretty special product simply due to the low cost. You just don't see this in HiFi. So that's why I'm so excited about it. It's a really tremendous buy, and I can't recommend it enough. I'll see you guys next time. I do have more on the way. I'm getting a little backed up, but more on the way in the photo realm as well as the audio realm. I'll see you next time. Bye.